Which witch is the great witch? Now who is on first? I like your title better. I like which witch is the great witch. I'm actually changing it to that. That's hilarious. It's so good. I love this theme. The little bench at the end of the food court was empty, so I have a nice little secluded spot to eat my food. Nice! I listened to an analysis of Turnabout Sisters during my walk just now. I didn't realize that there's a debate on the key it's in. Oh, really? The melody is in a major key and the harmony is in a minor key. Oh. Interesting. Hello everyone! Welcome on in to Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright, Ace Attorney. How are we all? This is potentially the second to last Ace Attorney stream on this channel until the next Ace Attorney game in one day comes out. Oh, look at that. There's probably a reason the major is from Maya, the minor is from Nia, possibly. Ooh. Depending on how far we get today and how far we get next stream, this could be the second to last stream. Oh, it's so bittersweet. Think, if I remember correctly, I left myself on off on a cross-examination because I hate myself. And I keep doing that to myself.
Remember how the professor was supposed to show up as decisive evidence? Well, nope. He's actually now an inquisitor.
And then Tyrion Cuthbert, right? That's in the queue of games. It's either that or Ghost Trick next. And whichever one's not next, the next one, it will be that. Yes. English. Yes, I'm very good at it.
We had Darklaw on the ropes. I mean, we totally drop-kicked her argument into space. We just needed a bit more. But then the professor burst in, saying that he would be able to prove Espella is really the Great Witch. There's no way we can give up now, but what do you do when you're up against someone like the professor?
Yep, I knew it. I remembered correctly. Shades. Okay, cool. Let's reread this testimony because it's been 3 days? Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them I am known as the Great Witch. Those that are put to the flames in the witch trials become shades who live their lives in the woods.
We exist to carry out tasks given to us by our mistress, the Great Witch herself. I am not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit.
Okay, that's the full testimony. That's it for her testimony, I guess. Both of their testimony, I think.
What you thinking, Nick?
I'm thinking there's something really weird going on with Darklaw. Perhaps.
Really? Do tell.
I mean, just listen to her testimony. She's more than willing to elaborate on some potentially incriminating information.
I see your point.
The one really trying to put an end to this story could be Darklaw herself.
I guess, but still.
Huh?
Remember, Nick, we're here to save Espella. So let's squeeze every last bit of information we can out of Darklaw and clear Espella's name. In other words, press those statements.
You got it, Maya. You know, you could be onto something. I better gather as much information as possible for the time being. Cool. Alright, let's get pressing.
Hold it!
Great Witch?
Yes, that's right. However, I am not Bezella.
Okay. Can we get a lie detector in here? just a double check, Darklaw. Because the only Great Witch we know of happens to be named Bezella.
The mistress to those who dwell in the Eldritch Woods is dubbed the Great Witch. So's Bezella. Even if I wanted to be Bezella, I couldn't. As the ever-so-charming Inquisitor stated earlier, I cannot use magic.
Magatama's senses are tingling. I see some locks on your heart.
Miss Darklaw, I have one question. What do you mean by live outside the realm? I mean just that, Inquisitor. We truly do live in a realm separate from this town. Now surely, one as intelligent as yourself has worked out the answer by now, no? Perhaps. That remains to be seen, Miss Darklaw.
Press her like a panini sandwich. Nice.
Regardless, 'tis something we cannot discuss with anyone. But it is something that the defense should be able to prove.
That almost sounds like a challenge. That seems like half of what she says is challenges. I don't know what her motives are. By the way, Miss Darklaw, since you're not actually a witch, why do you continue to be called that? Exactly.
To answer that, I must first discuss the true identity of the Shades.
Sure, okay.
Hold it!
So you're saying that the Kira here from now is a shade version of the Kira from before?
Indeed, Defender. The girl has no recollection of her life prior to living in those woods.
What manner of witchery is this? Why? This girl, Kira the flower seller, was cast straight to the flames before our very eyes. Yeah, I want to hear what happened. That's right, Your Honor. But as you can see, she didn't die. You see, there's actually a trick to the incineration device in the witch's court. Ooh, you're exposing this now, Phoenix. You're gonna put the whole town in panic. You mean all those witches that we cast are all still alive? Our justice system is a sham? A trick? Once the verdict has been delivered, the court attendants move the steel cage into position, after which it seals shut. Then, the cage is dropped down into a pit of fire. The bottom of the cage then opens, allowing the witch inside to escape unharmed into an underground passage. If what you're saying is true, Defender, then what of this town's witch-purging history? What has been the purpose of all this?
You and the knights have indeed been ridding a labyrinth of witches. However, nary a single life has been taken in the process. That is the reality.
But you cannot truly expect me to believe such a ridiculous notion. Who is this?
Your Honor, it's true. Who is this?
Your Honor, it's true. Oh, okay, Maya unmasked. Take a good hard look. It doesn't get any more alive than this.
Nice, Maya. It's you. I am May.
I am May.
Aw. I loved their little camera angle there.
Well, it's actually Maya Fey, your forgetfulness.
What the heck are you doing? Everyone's gonna recognize you. Phoenix, we just told the whole court. I was like, get me out from under that damn helmet.
Yeah, but seeing is believing, Nick. Now they have to believe you.
And also, she wasn't sentenced for being a witch. She was an accident. Like, if she was, like, sent to the flames for being a witch, that's another story, but she was proclaimed innocent on that charge. I am May, I know her sister Anna.
Do you see? Are you satisfied? All those found guilty in the witch trials lose their names, magic, and memory. They are then sent to spend their lives as shades in the Eldritch Woods. And the mistress of those shades is the Great Witch. As you can see, this girl too has become a shade.
I have no more words to express my utter disbelief at this situation.
That's enough. Shall we return to the testimony?
Why do I have the feeling things are going to get a lot worse?
Hold it!
These tasks you mentioned, were you acting on them this evening? Probably should have said I'm a big fan of her sister Anna. I don't know, I wanted to make the joke. I was half focused on that.
Yes, I was told to come here and become Brazella.
Wait, just a moment, witness. Did you just say, become Bazella?
My, how dreadful! Why would anyone be given such a terrible task?
Where have these shades come from? Order! Order!
I'm sorry. I don't know why I was given such a task. All I can do is follow the orders I am given. If I can do that, then I can return.
What do you mean you can return?
Such is the nature of the shades. Neither human nor witch, there is an existence spent in the shadows. Each of the shades is given specific tasks. Then, upon successfully completing such tasks, they are allowed to return to Labyrinthia as brand new people.
So, has this happened before? Like, has a shade risen to become a new person in Labyrinthia? Or is this just theoretical? But Lady Darklaw, how can they return as a brand new citizens? When we already know who they were. For instance, we all recognize the former flower seller standing before us. Now
that, my lord, remains a secret. But a secret you will come to understand sooner rather than later.
Interesting. Okay. Simply baffling.
The ones who give us our tasks is the Great Witch. That would be you, Lady Darklaw. Oh, Magnificent One.
While this explanation is wrought with much I cannot comprehend, I request the witnesses add it to their testimony.
Okay, fine, I guess. Lady Darklaw was a venerable mistress. She assigned us our tasks. She was the Great Witch.
Hold it!
So about these tasks, can you give us any other examples?
A shade's tasks must never be discussed with others, no matter what.
Okay, that feels wrong. That feels like you just made that up. She says that even though she just finished telling us all about her secret task. Yeah, exactly. Incidentally, do you perhaps remember when you arrived back in town to carry out your orders?
Well, not really. My memory is still a little fuzzy.
Say, didn't Kira only just recently become one of those shade thingies?
Yeah.
Still, I failed in my task tonight.
Come to think of it, when Luke and I had our little run-in with Kira, I remember being blown clear across the marketplace. But I never saw any explosives or gunpowder.
Maybe Kira was given the task of blowing you to smithereens, Nick.
Okay, Maya, well... And we're done. Getting back to this testimony. I'm sure there's something here that just doesn't add up.
Hold it!
You really don't have any recollection of your old flower-selling self, do you?
I don't.
When a witch becomes a shade, they lose all memory of their past life. They lose their memories? But why? And yet you still have some grasp of the concept of magic, do you not, Witness? Let me spell it out for you. Magic does not exist in the Eldritch Woods.
Oh, but there are actually lots of things back in the forest that I have not seen in this town.
There are things there you haven't seen here?
Like really huge machines, that sort of thing. There's one that spits out fire with such amazing speed, and then it expels these huge plumes of grey smoke.
A machine that spits fire? Never have I heard of such a thing. Are you certain that these machines of which you speak are not simply magic?
You know, now that you mention it, I don't think anyone from this town can actually see those of us from the forest.
Interesting. They can't see you? Could it be something like that robe? How can such a thing even be possible without magic?
Objection!
Oh! Layton! Miss Darklaw, if I may interrupt you for just a moment.
What is it, Inquisitor Layton?
Through your testimony just now, we have all come to understand the process of how one becomes a shade. However, I was hoping you could perhaps elaborate on one additional point. Namely, what exactly is the purpose behind the shades? Is there more to it than just rehabilitation?
If you wish to know our purpose, there are certain other things you must first understand. Once you've done that, the answer should be quite clear. Isn't that right, Defender?
The purpose behind the shades?
Rest assured, you will not get the answer from me. As the saying goes, the witch is in your court, Defender.
Sounds like Darklaw's challenging me to figure this out. Challenge accepted.
There is but one true purpose for the shades that dwell within the Eldritch Woods.
Now we come to the crux of the matter.
Hold it!
Miss Darklaw, what is the purpose of the shades?
As mistress to the shades, I cannot disclose their purpose of their existence.
Well then, since Miss Darklaw is unable to tell us herself, it seems we must rely on evidence instead.
I have no idea.
Evidence, huh? I do believe the shades could have something to do with that which exists in this town, but ought not to. The bell tower? The bell tower. Something that exists but shouldn't. Or... No, probably not the bell tower. Well, Defender, are you prepared to present evidence? Think bigger. Magic, in general? I was born ready, Your Honor. Something that exists in this town but shouldn't. I think I know what you're getting at, Professor. Defender, please present your evidence. Yes, Your Honor. The purpose of the shades could be to make sure this particular thing exists in Labyrinthia. No. 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 Probably not. Probably not. No. Magic? Like... It's... I don't know. Take my great fire dragon spell. Something that doesn't exist. I have a feeling no one is going to like the answer I'm about to give, and it'll probably end up shaking this town to its core. But I've got to tell them. The truth has to come out. Since I arrived here in Labyrinthia, there's been no shortage of really strange events. Ignace, Demir, Godor, Goldor, and now Grandworm. I can't believe it was actually magic. Okay. The mere command of magic is in itself a crime, is it not? Any spell would have worked there. Oh, good. In this town, witches are arrested and made to participate in witch trials. They are then sentenced to death by fire. But none of those witches actually died. That supposed death by fire wasn't real. And neither is magic. It doesn't really exist. Okay. So... I'm really curious to hear the explanation for Layton turning to gold. Everything else, I can maybe see the non-magic explanation. Maybe. I also want to hear about this invisible robe. What are you saying, Defender? The Eldritch Woods apparently contain some rather large machines, unlike anything that exists within Labyrinthia. Machines that emit fire and produce large plumes of smoke. To top it all off, the citizens of Labyrinthia are not able to see said machines. It sounds like nothing more than magic. Yes, that's exactly it, Your Honor. Miss Starklaw. Magic doesn't really exist in this town. That's the answer, isn't it? Magic does not. What utter nonsense. It seems we have finally arrived at the stunning conclusion. The secret behind Labyrinthia. What? What? This poor judge is gonna have a heart attack. Order, 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 I say! What is the meaning of this? It means that all the magic you've seen in this town was nothing more than an illusion created and put into motion by the Shades. But Defender! The witches, we have clearly seen them use magic. Existential crisis in 3, 2, 1. Let's just take a moment to think carefully about the systems employed by the Shades. Systems.
What is essential in order for a witch to use magic? The staff and the gems. The witch must possess a Talia Magica and must say an incantation in order to cast the spell. Yeah. And the spells able to be cast are determined by the scepter's magic gems. Now, what do you think is the purpose of placing such requirements on the use of magic?
It's fake, yeah. What do you mean, purpose?
These requirements are not there to allow the user to cast magic. Rather, the reality is they are there to inform the shades of who should be using magic.
Huh?
It is possible that witches were always being closely observed by shades. That's why they donned these robes, to appear hidden until they were needed to create magic.
Create?
Indeed, there are all kinds of spells within this tome. It would be quite troublesome if they were simply allowed to use any spell at will.
Yeah, it would make the Shade's job that much more difficult for sure.
Precisely so. That is why it was imperative that a certain restriction be placed on the use of magic.
You're referring to the Talia Magica, right, Professor? Of course, no wonder the scepter could only contain 2 magic gems.
Then there's the incantation. What would happen if a witch could simply whisper the incantation quietly to herself, or not even say it at all?
Boy, that'd be so cool. I'd be casting spells all day long and no one would ever see it coming.
Maya, we spent an entire trial proving that you weren't a witch, remember? If the witches didn't give some sort of signal, then there would be no way for the shades to know when to cast the spell. Right you are, Mr. Wright. The incantations were a way of telling the shades when the witch was ready to use magic.
What on earth? Never did I think these requirements could have such a purpose.
Now, let's think back to the previous events leading up to today that have involved magic.
Yes, please. Thank you, Professor.
Our first encounter with magic was the use of the spell Ignace a few nights ago. A spell like this
Okay, yeah, sure.
was nothing more than a flame spewed from a machine being used by the shades.
Sure. That's fine.
Then that means... Demir!
A spell that makes the caster disappear? No doubt about it, it must have been this robe. Yeah. Sure.
So the only magic thing is the robe?
Next is the incident with Godot, the spell that transmuted me into a gold statue.
I also want to hear about the Godor spell. How was Jean able to create the portal thing?
While I understand this may sound a bit absurd, I can only surmise that the shades created a gold statue in my image, took me and left it in my place the instant the incantation was uttered.
That's nuts! How did they sneak it in? How did they sneak in a giant gold statue? That's hilarious.
Don't mind us. Tra-la-la. Unless they covered it in a robe or... But, man, that's hilarious. How?
Professor, it's no more absurd than anything else that's happened so far. We can therefore conclude that all of the magic in Labyrinthia was created in a similar vein.
How indeed. What do you say to that, Miss Darklaw?
I'd expect nothing less from you, Inquisitor Layton. At any given time, there were between 5 and 10 witches in town. All the witches were accompanied by shades at all times. That's nuts. It was easier than you would think. You see, the shades living in the Elvish Woods live in total in the hundreds. Damn, it was simply a matter of having each of the shades operate in shifts in order to watch over each of the witches within the town.
I must say, Lady Darklaw, that is quite a number of shades.
It was not only those who fell victim to the flames that were turned in the shades. Okay, because there was men. I remember there being men, and but their victims too were made permanent residents of the Eldritch Woods. Oh, okay. So those two burglar guys. Interesting. Oh, that's cool.
But then, those two shady thieves from before were turned in the shades?
Ah, yes, you mean Robs and Mugs. Despite their dubious appearance, those two were a couple of my best shades. Shady thieves turned in the shades. The stuff writes itself. I cannot believe what I have heard. However, there is still one thing I do not understand just yet. There's a couple things I don't understand just yet, Professor. But what are you concerned about? And what would that be? As has just been explained, we've established that there's no possibility of magic being real. But replacing me with the goat statue to give the illusion of transmutation, for example, while it sounds simple enough, I myself, and presumably also Miss Fey, have no recollection of this replacement actually taking place. Yes, thank you!
Hey, that's right. The professor got all bling-blingy before I could even bat an eye.
What are they, freezing time? Like, what's happening? It begs the question, how and when was that statue created, let alone used to replace me? That is true. The same goes for Godor. Yes, thank you! It's supposed to create a portal between two green-colored walls. Perhaps that is exactly why the spell can only work on green walls, Mr. Wright. Still, it'd be impossible for the shades to get those portals ready so quickly. I agree, but take a moment to think. We can see that all these spells have one strange thing in common. Timing? A thing in common? Yes, indeed. Almost as if some time between the start and end of the incident was unaccounted for. Memory wipe? Furthermore, any memory I might have had regarding the incident seems to have simply disappeared in the process.
I've got it, Nick. It's just like what happened to Kira. She's got absolutely no memory of her life in Labyrinthia before the trial, right?
Time is stopped, or the perception of time is halted.
Yes, I do not remember this Kira you speak of. And, oh yeah, when you really think about it, doesn't it seem super weird how the Shades are able to return to town if they complete their tasks?
Yeah, there's some memory stuff going on. You're right, Maya. I mean, the townsfolk are bound to remember some things about them, right? Like how Miss Kira here threw a major hissy fit in court and was barbecued for being a witch. Okay, Phoenix. Damn. And is that eloquently put? Eloquently put, Mr. Wright. Hence, we cannot yet conclude that this entire illusion was primarily accomplished through the use of machinery. Simply put, there must have been some way of affecting the memories of all those within the confines of this town. Missing time and lost memories. Now that is interesting, Inquisitor. You are correct. There is in fact a secret that lies within the depths of the Eldritch Woods. Is it something, I'm gonna guess, something with the potions they brew? Something that the people of this town cannot see. Something that can rob people of their time and memories. 'Tis the very thing that connects all of what you've heard tonight. 'Tis a secret of monumental proportions. And let me guess. 'Tis a secret that cannot be revealed by the mistress of the Eldritch Woods. Is that right? Or the bell tower. I'm still curious what the hell's up with the bell tower. Yes, an excellent deduction, Defender. Cool. Anyway, we proved witches aren't real, so can we let Espella go? Witches' souls wander astray within the Eldritch Woods. Until tonight, I thought this nothing but a mere fairy tale told to children. But it has become clear that a seemingly large organization lies within that forest. The Witch's Court is the border between this world and the other world. Then that means, in this world, you're Labyrinthia's High Inquisitor, while also being Mistress to the Shades in the other world. Otherwise known as the Great Witch. May I intervene for just a moment, Mr. Wright? Sure. In all honesty, there is still something that sticks out as a little odd. Particularly in Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. Did you say the previous testimony? I already pushed that out of my head. Me too, buddy. I have no idea. There was one vital truth that we managed to take away from that testimony. You mean that magic does not truly exist in Labyrinthia? Indeed, quite the vital, albeit shocking truth. However, there is one more truth hidden in that same testimony. There's something else in that testimony? I must have checked the court record more times than I can count, but I didn't find a single other contradiction. Have you forgotten already, Mr. Wright? When there is no evidence left, we have but one more weapon at our disposal with which to uncover the truth.
Oh, hey, I've got it, Nick. Remember in a witch trial you can cross-examine two witnesses at the same time?
Hey, that's right, I completely forgot. Being able to have a look at two testimonies side by side is bound to turn up a contradiction somewhere, sure. And that contradiction should provide us with a much-needed clue. I'm not entirely sure where the professor is going with this, but I believe in his judgment. Besides, if we're going to blow this case wide open, it's gotta be worth a shot. Very well. We will now take a closer look at Lady Darklaw's previous testimony. This is it. Miss Darklaw's previous testimony. Say Miss Darklaw's previous testimony one more time. There's a glaring contradiction between this piece of testimony and the others. Ready yourself, Mr. Wright. Okay. Shades live outside the realm of those who dwell within Labyrinthia. To them, I'm known as the Great Witch. Those that are put to flames in the witch trials become shades who live in their lives in the woods. Lady Darklaw was our venerable mistress. She assigned us a task. She was the Great Witch. I am not a witch, nor am I a wandering spirit. There is but one true purpose for the shades that dwell within the Eldritch Woods. Was the Great Witch. I am known as the Great Witch. Is it this?
Objection.
Hey! Aw, cute. They ran out to the middle to do that, and then had to run back to their benches. Your Honor, there's obviously a huge discrepancy between these two pieces of testimony. Miss Darklaw stated that she is known as the Great Witch. However, according to Miss Kira's testimony, Miss Darklaw was her venerable mistress, the Great Witch. That is correct. She was the Great Witch. Note Miss Kira's use of the past tense. Past tense? I am afraid my grammar is not quite what it used to be. Oh my god, Your Honor. May I ask what you mean? Who let this guy be a judge? It's simple. Miss Darklaw was mistress to the Shades, or as they also called her, the Great Witch. Therefore, she no longer is. She is no longer the Great Witch. She is not the Great Witch? Witness, is this true?
Huh?
It is as you have heard, my lord. I relinquished my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task. I'm curious to know what your thoughts on these revelations so far.
The magic not being real is honestly very surprising. I did not see that coming. I was just like, yeah, sure, magic's real. Sure, we're in a magic town, of course. I'm curious what's going on with the Great Witch stuff. And how it connects with Espella. And how it connects with, like, that storybook that Luke and Layton found. And I want to know what's going on in the memory stuff. There's a lot of revelations being dropped. Layton games always end with some large file.
I relinquish my position as Great Witch in order to fulfill the objective of this task.
What would that objective be again?
That would be the assassination of the storyteller, Your Honor.
Witness, at the beginning of this trial, you stated that you came to town in order to complete your task, didn't you? What's more, you said that you were going to summon the fire dragon to do it. Now this task, it wasn't Miss Darklaw here that gave it to you, was it?
No, it wasn't.
That makes sense. That makes sense on why Darklaw would knock her out then. Because I was wondering, like, why give her this task and then get pissed that she's there and knock her out? That makes sense if it wasn't her that gave it to her. I completely forgot about that.
No, it wasn't.
Some more than others, yes.
So then, the most pressing question is, who was it that gave you that task? Who told you to come to Labyrinthia and assassinate the storyteller?
Gonna guess... I'm gonna guess storyteller himself. Because he wanted to, like, I don't know, fake his death or something. Because we know he's still alive.
I cannot tell you, no matter what.
The real Great Witch is May. I am May. Alright, so Darklaw isn't the Great Witch anymore. Which must mean the mastermind behind this entire thing is... Ooh.
It would seem the defense has worked it out as well. Mr. Wright, you know who really gave Miss Kira her task tonight, do you not? Defender, I ask that you enlighten the court. Show us who really gave this witness her task to assassinate the storyteller.
It's gotta be the storyteller himself. Espella was knocked out by Darklaw and brought up to the top of the tower. We obviously know Darklaw didn't give it to her. It's gotta be storyteller.
Take that!
The storyteller?
We're talking about someone with the authority and power to replace the Great Witch. Someone who calls the shots. I can't think of anyone else that meets those criteria except for the storyteller himself.
Preposterous. Then that would mean... Exactly, Your Honor. It means that the storyteller gave this final task to Kira himself. He was, in short, responsible for his own assassination.
What?
Order, order! Order in the court. But for what purpose? Why would he plan his own assassination? That I cannot say, Your Honor. However, the final chapter of the story does tell of his inevitable death. While he assigned this task to Kira himself, it is perfectly natural that he would do so himself. However, that what is not natural is your behavior tonight, Miss Darklaw.
Yeah, she tried to pin all the blame on Espella.
What was unnatural about the High Inquisitor's behavior? You were once the head of all the Shades, and yet tonight you tried to interfere with the storyteller's plan. You rendered Miss Kira unconscious and locked her away in the belfry of the bell tower. That to me seems like the activity of someone aiming to put a stop to his plan altogether. Indeed. Lady Darklaw, what would be the reason for such behavior? I leave that to you, Mr. Wright. That's your job. Based on what we've seen in this trial, the defense believes Miss Darklaw's reason for covering up her actions tonight. If I had a nickel for every time someone in power tried to stage an assassination on themselves, I would have 2 nickels, which is not a lot, but strange that happened twice. Can only be attributed to one thing. This plan was handed down by the storyteller himself. Miss Darklaw was definitely aiming to put a wrench in it, but why? She tried to sabotage the plan, she tried to betray the storyteller, she tried to protect the storyteller. No. One of these. I feel like sabotage the plan and betray the storyteller are pretty similar. I think betray. Because she did put his daughter up there. There's one possible reason I can think of as to why Miss Darklaw had to hide her actions tonight. She was aiming to betray the storyteller. Betray the storyteller? I agree, Mr. Wright. The storyteller used the Great Witch Bezella to take his own life. Instructions to carry out the plan were given to Miss Kira. However, Miss Darklaw planned to intervene and change the scenario at the very last minute. She planned to do so by changing the identity of the Great Witch from Miss Kira to Miss Cantabella. Thus bringing us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. I also want to know what's going on with Isabella and her weird, like, possession thing that she's got going on, and her weird lack of memory and all that. Her false memories, or if they're false memories. I want to know what's going on with her. Thus bringing us to our current situation. Miss Cantabella on trial for the murder of her father at the hands of Bezella. You, Miss Darklaw, seem to harbor a rather strong hatred for the storyteller, if I'm not mistaken. A hatred, you say? Yes, I suppose you could call it that. That's right. Behold, my revenge. Did you say revenge? I want to know what's up. Miss Darklaw, will you please tell the court of your plan for revenge? Can you please tell us of your plans of evil revenge, please? If you insist.
Ooh!
The High Inquisitor, and also the Great Witch. Long have I donned those 2 masks. One is Labyrinthia's protector, the other its harbinger of destruction.
He forgot my birthday.
In other words, I was merely meant to serve him. And yet, he sought to selfishly pen the ending of the story under his own terms. He did not care enough about me, or any of the townspeople, to allow us the dignity of deciding our own fate.
Okay.
Indeed, what we witnessed tonight
was the cowardly act of a man looking for an easy way to end that which he could not properly finish. He cared for no one but himself, hence this sudden sham of an ending. And for that, I will never forgive him.
What do you mean by sham of an ending? The Great Witch Bezella is to summon a dragon of fire and end the life of the creator. She will then be put on trial and judged, thus heralding a period of peace and prosperity for all of Labyrinthia. Such is the ending written for this town and its people. 'Tis not an ending I oppose in principle. Who would not wish a happy ending for their own people? However, the problem lies in Bezella's identity.
Bezella's identity?
As you know, he assigned the role of the Great Witch to this girl beside me.
But you're saying that was a falsehood, is that correct?
I knew Bezella's true identity. 'Tis not something I could ever forget. That is why I went to the bell tower and it is why I took the accused there. I did it to ensure the true witch foretold in the story was given the judgment she was due.
The true witch? You don't mean...
Espella Contabella.
Yes, I speak of none other than Espella Contabella.
Objection!
Stop it. Miss Darklaw, there's a glaring contradiction in your statement.
And what would that be?
It's supposedly common knowledge that Bezella is capable of using all magic. However, that is far from the truth. Magic does not actually exist in this town. It was all one giant illusion created by the Shades. Therefore, there is no Great Witch Bezella. The Great Witch Bezella cannot exist either. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Layton. Yeah, uh-oh, he has something to say, doesn't he? Oh, no.
You fool. Defender, you really don't have a clue, do you?
But wait, just a minute now. Is the defender not correct? If magic does not exist, then it goes without saying that witches do not exist either. And that would include the Great Witch, would it not? Thank you, Your Honor.
That's right. They've been lying to us this whole time. Dastards. Bezella isn't real.
Objection!
No, Layton.
Mr. Wright, there is a fundamental mistake in your argument.
Layton. Layton, do not tell me that the Great Witch Bezella is the only exception to this. What do you mean?
I have but one simple question. What exactly is Bezella?
She's a fairy tale. Huh? Well, she's supposed to be the head of all wishes.
Allow me to reword the question. The Great Witch Bezella is the root of all disaster within Labyrinthia. Knowing that, what specific disaster might she have been the root of?
That would be, the Great Fire? Whatever it was called, I can't remember.
I just thought of something. We've been hearing Bezella's name left and right since we got here, but not once has the real Bezella shown up in person.
Indeed, Miss Faye. Bezella herself has been virtually absent from the story thus far.
But Inquisitor, did she not claim the life of the storyteller tonight? No.
It would appear so, Your Honor. However, there's just one more thing. Consider this. Which particular story is every citizen of Labyrinthia most familiar with?
Well, that would have to be the Legendary Fire, right? That's what it was, the Legendary Fire.
Precisely.
Surely you're not serious. As the name implies, that is but a mere legend. No one knows for certain if it occurred. What? Isn't there, like, evidence all over the town that it happened? And the whole reason everyone's scared of Bezella? What?
So they say. But the reality is, there are still traces of that terrible fire within the town today, yeah.
The professor's right. We've even seen some of it up close and personal.
Hey, yeah, at the Great Archive.
You are indeed correct, Inquisitor. Littered throughout the town are burnt remnants of a fire most fierce. However, no one can say for certain what transpired back then. You see, not a soul saw what actually happened.
Let me see if I have this straight. There's an entire town full of people and no one saw what happened?
Correct. Except for one particular person.
Espella or Bezella? One of them.
What?
There is one person who saw everything. I am speaking, of course, of the one responsible for the fire itself, the Great Witch Bezella. Yes.
Yes.
I remember it. All of it.
So did she burn the entire town?
Espella, what are you saying?
When I close my eyes, I can picture it so vividly.
The awful sight of the flames engulfing everything they touched, the scorching heat on my skin, the smell of burning cinder all around me, the large plumes of black smoke, the warm tears streaming down my face. I remember it all.
What you are recalling now is the moment the Great Witch Bezella destroyed our town. Well, it appears my role here is finished. As for the rest, I leave it in your capable hands, Inquisitor. Get back here! What? We're not done with you! Huh? Darklaw, she just vanished into thin air! Oh, she actually vanished. That's funny.
She's right. These memories are proof that I am Bezella.
But, Spella...
Mr. Wright. Remember, if you will, what I said at the beginning of this trial. I came here to prove that Aspella Cantabella is, in reality, the Great Witch Bezella. I feel like there's more to this story. Right. There is still one more thing I wish to present to the court. I would now like to call the final witness to the stand. Gotta be the storyteller, right? I don't see who. I don't think he's gonna bring in a random person as the final witness. The final witness? Or Luke. It would appear he has arrived. There he is. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, I give you this trial's final witness, the storyteller, back from the dead. And just like that, he appeared, the man who died not hours before, and the victim of this very trial, the storyteller himself. The professor sure chose one heck of a final witness. Time for the climax. Morning is drawing closer and closer. How this trial will end is anyone's guess. Ow, there it is. To be continued. We're gonna keep going a little bit. My goodness gracious. Yes, I'd like to save. Chapter 9 complete. Ooh. He's gonna accuse Yanni Yogi. The first epilogue. The first story. Oh, we're in the end game. That's right. He did say something about going back to the first story to find the truth or whatever it was. I don't quite know what to say. Well, we can call off the murder trial. He's still alive. I am truly shocked. To see the storyteller again, alive and well. This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. Yeah, you faked your assassination. It'd be nice to finish today, but I do not remember how much is left. Yeah, we're gonna get as far as we can. As far as we can, and if we don't finish today, we absolutely will finish tomorrow, if we don't. Like, I will stream. I was after the game, there's a few side stories, was rejected, extra puzzles. We'll definitely do those too. This was unexpected by me too, as I did not plan to appear before you all again. I was convinced that you would all see the last of me at the parade. Note Layton says almost exactly that. But this is the trial for your murder. And you are alive.
Yeah, see? No one was killed. So let's call this whole thing off and never have witch trials again.
Thank you, Maya. That's what I'm saying. Cool. He's not dead. No one killed the storyteller. Put Aspella down. Who cares? Trial's done. Whoa, Maya, take it easy. We're still in court, remember?
But what's the point of this? The storyteller wasn't killed. Thank you, Maya.
Thank you. Well, this is actually a trial to find out who the Great Witch Bazella is. No, this was a murder trial for the storyteller. It just so happened to be done by the Great Witch Bazella. Maybe. Oh, let me check that out.
Espella would never do anything to harm her dad.
Objection.
I disagree. If only it was as simple as that to end this trial. However, it is not, Miss Fey.
But, Professor...
Search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Contabella is accused of is not just murder.
It's being the Great Witch Bazella, I know.
Okay, from this point on, according to long play, we got somewhere between 2 and 3 hours left. Okay, that sounds good. We can probably play for like 40 minutes, 30 minutes to an hour here, and then finish it up tomorrow. Cool. I'll leave myself off on a testimony says cross-examination again if there's more of those. Search your memory and you will know the reason why. The crime Miss Contabella is accused of is not just murder. The purpose of the witch's court is to sentence the witches for what they are. Isn't that right, Mr. Storyteller? Hope he gets well soon. I fully intend to expose the true identity of Bazella, and this would not be possible without you, Mr. Storyteller, on the witness stand. I see. And so, you assume the role of an inquisitor just to lure me here. Be that as it may, the Inquisition still maintains that Espella Contabella is the Great Witch Bazella.
Dad.
Aww. Hey, I still want to know where Luke is, by the way. I keep thinking of him. Where is he? It's been a long time, Espella. 4 years, in fact. You must have experienced many hardships living among the townsfolk. This daughter of mine never fits in with the others, no matter how hard she tries.
No, it wasn't quite like that. There were people who supported me. Aunt Patty was very kind, and the customers who came to our bakery were nice to me.
I'm happy to hear that. I wanted to watch over you ever since you left for the town, but in the end, I failed to do so. I had no idea of what was happening to you. He's here, just wearing a cloak of invisibility. I am very sorry, Espella.
Oh, Dad, you don't need to apologize to me for anything. It's me that owes you an apology. I was trying to hurt you.
It was all my fault, not yours. There's no reason for you to blame yourself.
Dad, I'm happy we got to talk.
Aww. Espella. For goodness sake, get my daughter out of that cage.
You were so busy writing everyone's stories that we stopped talking to each other. Before, it was different. You used to have time for me.
Aw. Please forgive me. Why did it have to come to this? Mr. Storyteller, it's time to put everything in order now. The townsfolk and your daughter deserve to know the truth. The truth about yourself in this story. Yes, I suppose it's time I told you the truth. Your Honor. Yes, Mr. Storyteller. Let us begin. In this trial, I shall be judged. What? Understood. The witness shall testify. People of Labyrinthia who have gathered in this court, I will now tell you the true story. Many of you will certainly find it hard to believe and difficult to accept. Nevertheless, I ask you to please lend me an ear and listen with open minds. Espella, my dear daughter, I ask you to do the same too. The truth about Labyrinthia. Although you know me as the storyteller, I have one more identity. This doesn't feel very endgame music. I am the president of Labrelum Inc. What? This whole town is one of Labrelum's research facilities. What? It may be hard for you to comprehend. That's the whole point of the machines and the fake magic and the witch trials. It's a research facility? That's insane. This land is rich in a very special substance which affects everyone who lives here. This substance enables the manipulation of people's minds, and that is what Labrelum is researching. Okay, sure. This experiment began 10 years ago. The townsfolk all became test subjects. Nuts! Insane! That's insane to do this to all these people against their will. Oh my god. There's more to it than that, don't worry. Oh, I fear. Where what? You just what? I don't understand. What does it all mean? Gamescom this week. Time to find out that Ace Attorney 7 still doesn't exist. Hell yeah. I'm so excited. I don't quite understand what I've just heard. Cool, cool. You're all test subjects. How's it feel? I do not blame you. I suppose all the townsfolk are just as confused. Labyrinthia is an artificial town created entirely by me, just like magic in this world. But of course, as artificial as it may be, it is the reality for those that live here. For the past 10 years, I have been bringing the illusion to life by writing the story. So you're just like kidnapping people and putting them in this town? Because Layton, Luke, and Phoenix and Maya were just kind of brought here against our will. Okay? I am lost for words. It feels as if the whole world has been turned on its head. It's all your imagination. Your Honor, it is certainly not an easy matter to grasp this new situation at once. Regardless, I suggest we hear more of what the witness has to say. Yes, I agree. Let's continue. But not on the storyteller's wishes. Remember, he said so himself. The defense may begin the interrogation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Hold it!
This is too much. I don't even know where to start. Labrelum Inc. That's a name I've heard before. You have? It is a global pharmaceutical company with headquarters in England. It's a global pharmaceutical company? If my memory serves me right, it was founded by Arthur Cantabella. That's your name? Arthur Cantabella. Indeed. That is my true name. Were you familiar with that, Mr. Wright? Clearly not. Also, if you knew who the founder was, and you knew the last name was Cantabella, you didn't think to bring that up at any point, Layton? Sure, yeah, I've heard of Labrelum Inc., of course. Labrelum Inc. is known for developing a completely harmless anesthetic about 20 years ago. It is now widely used in hospitals all around the world. The company is also working on various other plant-derived sedatives, revolutionizing medicine. I suppose I shouldn't be surprised by your vast knowledge, Mr. Layton.
Objection!
I knew that too! That's irrelevant. That fact is just based on the real world we're from, not Labyrinthia. The real world, Mr. Wright. And what would you call the world we are in now? Do you think this is a fantasy? I thought we all got absorbed into a book and just accepted that as fact. No, that's not quite what I meant. Mr. Wright, I do not mean to be so rude as to presume I know what thoughts are running through your head. However, Labyrinthia is certainly not a place within a book or in the past. Okay! We're all in the Matrix. Labyrinthia is a part of the world we know. Okay! Okay, Layton. Okay, I get it. You don't need to be mean. Huh. What?
But how can a town like this exist in the real world?
Do you think it's impossible? Why would that be? Because there's a lot of weird stuff going on. Are you saying that everyone would know about an unusual town like this if it existed?
It's something like that. Anyway, it would be on a map at least.
No, I'm afraid that cannot be so. Huh? This town is not marked on any map. It does not officially exist. So you're basically running like a magic witch trial version of Squid Games here. Like, what's happening? What do you mean? The answer is quite simple. I can't believe it.
Hold it!
This whole town is a research facility? Yes, this whole area is a private property of Labylum Inc. So they all own this land, huh? That is why Labyrinthia is not marked on any map and people from the outside cannot enter. We have taken measures to ensure that this town is not noticed by local residents. What measures are you talking about? Consider the fact that magic is supposed to exist in this town. Perhaps special mechanisms that we use to create magic also serve to conceal Labyrinthia. There are limits to what magic the Shades are capable of producing on their own, after all.
Okay, so how are the Shades going invisible? If we're in the real world... What's up with the invisibility robes?
That is the case indeed. The magic in this town has been made feasible, owing to the latest technology. Technology? Tricks? I cannot believe this. However, there is one question. There is no industry in Labyrinthia. How do you obtain such necessary commodities? Very observant, aren't you? All commodities are regularly shipped in by sea. A young man once made his way here on a freighter and took a speller out of the town.
Yes, Carmine.
That was Carmine Accidenti. A friend of mine. I see. But is something on this scale really possible? As you might suspect, it would be beyond the power of Labylum Inc. to keep a facility this size a secret for so long. Labyrinthia is a project co-funded by the British government.
And the British are in on this?
What? It's a government project? But what would be their stake in this? It's all because of my beliefs. His beliefs? By the way. Yes, Your Honor. What is a research facility? I've never heard of anything like that before. Look what you've done to these people, storyteller. Yes, that was careless of me. Naturally, wouldn't know what it means. How should I explain? This whole town is my creation.
Yeah, we know that.
That's what it was about. In other words, it's all your story. That makes it all clear. Swing and a miss, Your Honor. The storyteller believes in Strongheart's vision. Getting back to the topic. There is an important reason why we have chosen to build such a facility here.
Hold it!
A special substance? What does it actually do? This area has been isolated since ancient times, developing its own unique culture. There are underground ruins on the verge of this town. We found writings there, presumably left by the natives of this land. A bell that was supposed to be there was missing. So you have seen the ruins. I suspected that you would find them. Then perhaps you have also noticed that everyone who lives here has a very peculiar condition. A peculiar condition, you say? I can't just sit here quietly like a patient old man when you're saying such things. Just what kind of condition is it? You have every right to know. This condition makes people fall unconscious upon the sound of a certain metal being struck. Oh, the bell! Metal? What kind of metal? Here we go. Pure silver. And so there is not a single object made of silver in Labyrinthia. Now that I think of it, that's true. Just imagine what a disaster a fancy dinner would be if everyone fainted when they used silver cutlery. This condition is an integral part of magic. How so? All inhabitants of Eldritch Woods carry small silver bells. Okay, sure. I see now. The shades ring the bells when they need to create the illusion of magic. Okay, but how? Everyone present falls unconscious and the shades set to their work. Okay. Okay. So did you inflict this condition upon, like, Layton and Maya and Phoenix and all that?
Oh, look at where the shade's hand was. So that's the secret of the time-stealing magic Darklaw told us about.
Now that they mention it. Oh, yeah, I remember that bell. Oh, I forgot about that bell. Kira had a small bell with her when we saw her back at the marketplace. We have been researching this condition at the Labyrinth Inc. And finally, we discovered its cause. It was the groundwater. Water causes it? The groundwater contains a certain unique substance found in the soil in this area. Okay, so that's what happened. Got it.
So if you drink that water, you get this silver allergy thing? That's so nuts.
But, of course we've been drinking it. It's impossible to live without water. Of course. That's why everyone who lives here has that condition. Oh dear. You needn't worry. This condition is harmless. Especially as silver is unknown to the townsfolk. Is this something that's gonna stick with, like, Layton and Phoenix and stuff when we leave? Just gonna have to avoid silver all the time? Or is it an analogy that can wear off?
Something's still not quite right, though. If the sound of silver bells makes people pass out, why don't the shades pass out too?
No, they get clean water. Although the effect of the substance in the groundwater is powerful, it doesn't last long. Okay, that makes sense. It's temporary. The condition will vanish after a day or so without drinking that water. That's convenient. That substance's effects aren't limited to humans. It can also affect plants to a great extent. Plants are affected by it? Our research was focused on the plants rather than humans.
Hold it!
That sounds really scary. Just what is this about? The substance enters the groundwater, affecting organisms that consume it. People who drink it daily acquire that odd condition. They fall unconscious upon hearing the sound of silver metal. Yes, although the substance in the groundwater also has a tremendous effect on plants. Wildflowers in this area contain a certain poison. Upon my beard, poison! This poison doesn't harm the body. It has the effect of manipulating the mind. So it brainwashes people. I've been writing the story for 10 years. The title of the story is Historia Labyrinthia. The ink I used to write it was made from those plants.
Oh, Nick, do you remember how funny the ink smelled?
That was the gas released when the ink evaporates. And that's where the trick is.
What?
Those that inhale the gas become extremely susceptible to suggestion.
You hypnotize them with poison gas. Cool, 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 cool.
You mean brainwashing?
They will believe anything they are told, anything they read, however strange or unrealistic.
Okay, cool. You remember that guy that offed himself? Because of your town? Remember? I think you've had some, lot going on. If you believe it is happening, that probably explain things were happening in London.
They will believe anything they are told, anything they read, however strange or unrealistic. It will be imprinted into their minds as the truth. So that was the true purpose of the parades. Pages of the story, written in that special ink, were regularly distributed among the townspeople. It was done so that everyone would be in a state of hypnosis.
The storyteller is certainly a POS. Yeah.
Indeed. The creation of a fully controlled town with the inhabitants subject to long-term hypnosis. That was one of the topics of our research.
Nuts. Insane. Then the story that is written in the Historia Labyrinthia.
You could call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, realized through the shades' work and the hypnotic effect of the ink vapors. Is that how it was all this time?
Labyrinth used hypnosis to control all these people. I can't believe that the government was supporting that! Well, I'm not that surprised.
This experiment began 10 years ago.
Hold it!
All the people subjected to this experiment have been living here all this time? They signed a waiver.
No, we just started with just a few people, gradually getting more and more.
Shadow government.
I must say that I'm afraid of what the answer to this question might be, but where do these people come from?
Please, I need to know.
You haven't resorted to abduction by any chance, have you?
How do you think we got here late?
Of course not. Every test subject signed a contract with Labyrinth.
What? They signed contracts? They better be compensated well for this. It's been 10 years. Contract to have their memories erased and be used like pawns in a story?
The current inhabitants of this town have one thing in common. They were all dissatisfied with their lives and wanted to start anew.
Oh my god!
Forgetting about their mistakes, forsaking unwanted identities.
Everybody signed up for this, so it is totally fine. There's nothing morally wrong about this.
There are more people like that out there than you might think.
Sure! Sure! Why are we here?
They have all agreed to participate in our research.
Okay, sure. Everyone here agreed to participate in your messed up research. Did your daughter agree too? Did I agree? Did Maya agree? Did Layton agree? Did Luke agree? But that's insane.
It's not as unreasonable as you suggest. We give them a new identity, a chance to start their life again.
Yeah, and live in a freaking witch trial town set in the past. Like, bro.
In return, they subject themselves to hypnosis and live in this town as our test subjects. In order for this project to be possible, we suppress their memories of the past, including the memory of signing the contract.
Nuts.
So ultimately, they are not aware of what is going on.
Can we get all these contracts, please?
I couldn't agree more. I've got no idea what's going on. Let me make this clear, Mr. Wright.
We do not erase their memories, we suppress them. They will regain their memories of life before Labyrinthia once their contract is over. Nuts! Insane!
So this place was uninhabited before you started this research 10 years ago?
And you've managed to keep everyone in a state of hypnosis for 10 years straight.
Can you really hypnotize someone for that long? I mean, 10 years is one heck of a long time.
It was achieved through the distribution of the story during parades. The ink vapors have a powerful effect, but it wouldn't last 10 years, of course. With each parade, the effect was renewed. That's why the parades took place at regular intervals. That was the true purpose of that event.
Insane. I have a million questions, Mr. Storyteller.
I have been born and raised here. It was a poor, small town with no industry to speak of that had fallen behind the times. Ever since I was a child, I had one friend that was especially close to me. He was a bright boy, curious about the world. His name was Newton Belduke. There we go, there's Belduke mention. So what went on with him? Why'd he freak out when the bell tower appeared, Sir Newton Belduke? The alchemist.
So they were childhood friends. The plot thickens.
He had always been interested in the unique natural features of this land. There was really nothing here, but to us this area was an exciting place worth exploring. And one day we made an astonishing discovery on the outskirts of the town. We stumbled upon the entrance to the underground caverns leading to the colossal ruins.
Whoa, look at that, Newton. This is so amazing. And this strange writing. I've never seen anything like it before.
We found ancient writings in the ruins. Newton managed to decode some of them. According to our findings, a highly advanced culture had existed on the land where our little town was built. Some great calamity had befallen the natives, and they migrated elsewhere. They believed that plants and water in that area were cursed by an entity they called the Great Witch Bezella. The natives sealed the curse within the ruins and left in search of a new home. That is all we managed to decipher. Bezella's curse. It was sealed in the ruins, you say? Would that be the Bell of Ruin? The Bell of Ruin.
Oh, that's the bell from the bell tower. I wonder why it's got an ominous name like that. It summons demons! Did everyone forget about the summoning demon thing?
Regrettably, we couldn't get any further information from the writings at that time. Needless to say, Newton and I were very excited by the discovery.
Oh, cute. I knew it. This place is special. It has some kind of mysterious power. If we could find out what that is, our humble town would become famous. You know what? I'm going to do that. I will unravel the mystery of this place.
And so, Newton began studying the indigenous plants and substances dissolved in the groundwater. On the other hand, I studied economics and management at a university in London. I dreamed of bringing prosperity to this poor, forgotten town. I wanted to change it for the better with my own hands. Think about everything you learned so far, you know what the bell does. Yeah. Oh yeah. Meanwhile, Newton had succeeded at extracting a new anesthetic from the local plants. Was that the anesthetic which led to the foundation of Labrilum? Yes. It was a huge success for Labrilum, Inc. Before we knew it, we were making a fortune. We wanted the whole world to hear about our hometown. Alas, fate was not kind to us, as we never realized that dream. Everyone in our town had died. All the townspeople perished. Oh my god! Huh? Just what on earth happened to them? That does not matter anymore. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. What happened? We purchased the environs of our town. The mountains, the lake, the plains, everything. Then 10 years ago, having received financial support from the government, we started Project Labyrinthia. It was much smaller in the beginning. It started as no more than a village. Over the course of 10 years, it slowly grew into a town. The population increased as well. The people were signing the contract with Labyrinth, slowly increasing the number of inhabitants, correct? Yes. They would sign the contract, be hypnotized and assigned a role, and then be introduced to the world of the story. I have spoken at length. Thank you for patiently listening to my tale. Bazella is the name of a witch from an ancient legend that we read about in the ruins. It is a fictional character. She does not exist. But then, magic and witches? Magic is just an illusion, and there are no witches.
Alright, so it was all fake. That doesn't make it much better. Thank you, Maya. Why'd you write a story where people get killed with magic and witches are thrown into fire? You could have made it a peaceful, pleasant world where everyone would be happy.
No, that was not possible.
But why?
This is a research facility, after all. We're researching ways to completely control human beings.
Insane thing to say! That's insane! You can't just say that! What do you mean?
Completely ethical, I swear! Test subjects need to be exposed to extreme situations, so we decided on a fantasy setting. We wouldn't have got funding from the government otherwise. The government's like, you need to put these people in mortal danger or else you're not getting our money. In other words, we're running a business.
It's nuts. Yeah, I don't blame you, townspeople. Oh my god.
But just what instructions do you give to the people you hypnotized? You don't give each of them a full set of memories of their whole fictional life, do you? No, it's much more simple than that. We only give them 2 pieces of information. The first one, that they were born in this town, and the second was their new occupation. Then they fill in the gaps themselves, without being aware of it. The human mind requires a constant story of one's life. Which means, of course, that no Labyrinthian has memories from earlier than 10 years ago. No one has any memories from before they came to Labyrinthia. What are you saying? That's all one big lie. I am who I am.
But can't you remember your childhood? I can't.
That's true. I can't remember. Even my parents. No way. I can't recall my own mother's face.
That's nuts.
As you can hear, no one remembers their real past. There are no exceptions. Huh. Wait a second. No exceptions? I smell a contradiction here. Nah, it seems Mr. Wright too has noticed it now. What are you talking about, Layton? Mr. Contabella, you have just testified that not a single citizen of this town remembers anything from more than 10 years ago. Yes, as that is the truth. Now, that's a strange assertion, especially coming from you. What? What do you mean? There is one person in this town who remembers what happened more than 10 years ago. Bella keeps talking about how she remembers the fire. That cannot be. It is impossible. They must be merely imagining things now. Mr. Wright, please enlighten us all. Who is this person that remembers their past?
Spella Contabella.
Take that!
Precisely, Mr. Wright. That person is none other than Spella Contabella. What? That's impossible.
It's true, Dad. I remember it clearly as if it happened yesterday. The legendary fire.
No, that's impossible. That's just your imagination, Spella.
No, it's not. I couldn't remember it before, but it all came back to me. Because I'm Bezella.
No, no, no. Spella, there are no witches. That fire, it was just a bad dream. The Inquisition would like to call Spella Contabella to testify. What? Regardless of whether Miss Contabella is Bezella or not, her memories may contain valuable clues. Yes, that may be so. No, wait. Oh, what's the story with that? I don't agree to this. This trial is over, Your Honor.
Objection.
You seem to be forgetting something, Mr. Contabella. Your story has ended. You are no longer in control. Damn. You are merely one of the characters. And that is also why we will not cease seeking the truth until we find it. Defense. What is your opinion on this? Spella keeps insisting that she's the witch Bezella. As her attorney, it should refuse to let her speak to the court. Storyteller doing his best strong heart here. But what's really important now is finding the truth, just as Layton said. There's only one way to proceed with this trial. And that's by questioning Miss Contabella about her memories. In that case, the court summons Spella Contabella as a witness. Attendants, bring the accused to the witness stand. Now, witness. Testify about your memories of the legendary fire.
Yes, my lord. I was just a little girl then. It happened during the annual fire festival. Everyone was gathered in the town square for the fire festival, and I was watching them from the bell tower. The great witch Bezella awoke within me and brought calamity upon the town.
Okay, she must have knocked into the bell or something.
An enormous fire dragon appeared. I was trembling with fear, terrified by what I had summoned.
Witness, what you have told us wasn't a bad dream or fairy tale, but what you actually experienced.
Yes, it was, like I've already said. I remember it very clearly. The heat from the fire, the smell of smoke.
Spella, what are you talking about? The defense may cross-examine the witness. Thank you, Your Honor. Was there really a huge fire that destroyed the town? And what about Bezella? Is she even real? The answers are in Isbella's testimony.
Okay, okay. Well,
I think that's a okay place to leave it. Oh my goodness. What the heck was just revealed today? My god, there was so much. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll be back again tomorrow where we will beat this game no matter what. I'm streaming till I beat it tomorrow. Oh my gosh. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna send you guys off on a raid, spread some love over there. And I will catch you guys next time, tomorrow, where we're gonna finish Ace Attorney. Peace, thank you. Oh my god, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to let Ace Attorney go. It's been 2 years. Thank you guys for being here. Sending you off in 5, 4, bye, 3, 2, happy Hades Town Pro Shop release day! Let's go! 1, hold on. Bye bye.